We volunteer because we love it.
It's good to help and give back to your community.
I do it because I like to do it, and I still got the energy and ambition to do it.
I think it's because just giving back to the community that gives so much to them. Westerville's a wonderful city.
I'd say it's a pretty good feeling to just help people out. I mean, that's my thing. I like helping people.
I think everyone needs to give back to their community. Everybody can't donate a lot of money, but everybody can donate a little bit of time.
When you are fortunate to live in a community like Westerville, Ohio, and there's a lot of great communities out there, but when you're fortunate to live in one and that community can give you so much, you want to give back to them. And I think one way to give back is volunteering.
Look ahead in time and think about how you want your town to be when your kids come along.
It's just a great way to get involved in the community and to give back to the community. And you find out that once you start doing it, it's addictive.
Hello and welcome to Focus Westerville. I'm your host, John Buckles. One thing that makes Westerville such a special place is the vast number of residents who make significant volunteer contributions. At this year's annual Westerville Volunteer Appreciation Dinner, we heard story after story of the impact of more than 1,000 city volunteers. It seems everywhere we go in town, we run into Westerville citizens donating their time and talent in practical ways to invest in our community and enhance the quality of life. On this edition of Focus Westerville, we're going to meet several such people who are engaged in all kinds of volunteer opportunities, starting with a way some teens are getting involved.
There are two junior leaders here I just really liked, and I told Darcy that I wanted to be a junior leader here.
Our junior leaders do have a vital part with our summer camps.
I was a camper when the age limit began, so when I turned 6, I started going here, and I'm 16 now, so I've been here for 10 years.
He is a phenomenal junior leader that we've had. It gives them an opportunity to still hang out with a lot of their peers, but also the transition into more of a leadership role, more of a volunteer opportunity.
My first year, it was more of a transition from being a camper here to really making sure that I'm not trying to just be friends or get along with the kids here. I'm more of trying to make sure that they follow the rules. I get volunteer hours in and I get experience working with kids, and I get leadership skills from it. I know 2 of the junior leaders who are new this year, and I watched over them as a junior leader myself while they were campers.
Owen was my junior leader when I was a camper at Hoff Woods. He was really funny and liked playing with us, and I think the fact that he was my junior leader made me want to be a junior leader. I was a camper here when I was younger. I went to camp here for 5 years, and when I turned 14 and I was able to become a leader, I took advantage of that opportunity.
Seeing her kind of transition into the junior leader, it's also something that is kind of neat to see.
Junior leaders are crucial in helping us. The junior leaders really step in to make sure the station groups are covered and we have enough counselors with the kids, so it's super helpful.
I just love being around the kids. I like seeing how much 2-cent freezer pop makes them happy. I mean, it sort of reminds you how when you were a kid, stuff like that would just make your day.
There are 2 girls here that are cousins, and me and my cousin Paige went here when we were campers. And they have brown and blonde hair, and we have brown and blonde hair, and there are a lot of similarities that we have. They make me want to come back every day.
It's really worth spending my time here, doing something I enjoy doing, making these kids happier than flipping burgers at a local fast food restaurant.
My friends are sleeping right now. They're not putting their time into something like this.
Because of the extra hours that they give us throughout the summer, it definitely takes the pressure off of our camp counselors, and they can focus more on the campers themselves.
Just anything that we need help with, interacting with the kids first and foremost, but then anything the counselors need an extra set of hands with, she most definitely helps out.
The profession choice that I want to take has nothing to do with kids, but spending my time here and volunteering here makes me really happy, and I love being with these kids.
It's wonderful to see a younger generation of volunteers taking the initiative to serve within the Westerville community. One question you may be asking yourself is, where do my particular skills and talents fit in? Perhaps you could start with a high-level orientation of the city through the Westerville Citizens Academy. You'll get a first-hand look at department operations, meet city staff, and learn how you can get involved. So I'll give you a background on our department, and then Tom's going to spend...
The Westerville Citizens Academy is a program for residents to come in and learn more about their local government. They tour city facilities, they meet with staff and administration, and they walk away with a better understanding of what it is that their government does and how we provide the services that we do.
In the beginning, I came in as your typical frustrated taxpayer who thinks my taxes are too high. And without a lot of knowledge as to how those dollars are being spent.
Here at the City of Westerville, we pride ourselves on being transparent and responsible and accessible to our residents. So we invite all residents to apply and participate to get a behind-the-scenes perspective of what we do here.
It's great to have an opportunity to get the inside view of the city, to see the city from City Council's perspective, from the heads of the various departments that service the citizens of the community. And so I'm glad to have an opportunity to look on the inside.
This course was a fabulous experience, and I recommend it to every Westerville citizen out there.
Over the course of 8 weeks, they're able to learn what it takes many residents, years if not decades, to come away with.
We actually were taken out on a bus and we toured future development sites.
Learned a lot about the water treatment process and how they get it from Allen Creek.
I turn on my tap and drink straight out of it, and I've lived in communities and been in communities where that's not the case.
We tour the city parks and facilities with the Parks and Recreation Department. After that, we go and we meet with Mayor's Court and the Police Division.
It's good to actually meet the chief, ask him hard-hitting questions, and to have him respond very frankly and candidly. I thought that was very refreshing.
We go over to the new Westerville Service Complex, where participants are able to navigate a backhoe, maneuver a snowplow, and really try their hand at the equipment used by field staff on a daily basis.
I was kind of afraid of heights, but I did get up in the bucket.
Unless you've actually had some experience in the maintenance world, you don't fully appreciate what some of these guys do, despite the weather.
Participants love the hands-on activities, whether it's the backhoe, the snowplow, or going up in the bucket truck. This is a once-in-a-lifetime experience in many ways for our participants, that they're doing things here that they can't do anywhere else. The night that the Fire Division presents, we have a traditional classroom instruction, and from there we tour the Fire Division, we go through the main hangar bay, and then we look at the pieces of equipment there, all the medic trucks. Right when you think the night is over, up lifts the bay door, and there is a fire truck. The ladder is fully extended up in the sky, every light is on, it's blinking, it's shiny, it's impressive. It's our hope that once residents have completed the academy, that they walk away with a better appreciation of the work that goes in to plowing their street, to repairing the electric in their community. All of these really tangible benefits of living in Westerville become clearer and more precise, and they're able to put the face with the name and know that sometimes it's not just the flip of a switch, but it takes a team to respond to an issue or an emergency.
I came away just loving Westerville even more.
At the end of the session, I had a lot more insight as to how the system works, and I know that if I am frustrated, I also have an avenue to go through to address those things directly with the people who can actually make something happen. And I think that was a great takeaway.
Many of our Citizens Academy graduates feel empowered to play major roles in our community. For example, volunteers are of great assistance in our public safety departments, assisting police and fire in helping educate residents on safe practices, like how to properly install a car seat or when to replace your smoke alarm.
The Westerville Fire Department has been volunteer since its inception back in 1860, and over the years we became full-time. But as time goes on, we realized there was still a need to help the community, and we started a Citizens Fire Academy, and then out of that grew our Citizens Auxiliary Resource Team. The car seat installation alone, we see quite a few people come through, typically on Mondays, to have car seats installed.
This is called our Passenger Child Car Seat Check Day. And what we do is we set up appointments. Most of the time they have their car seats installed already, but they will come here to make sure that they're installed properly.
Because, you think you know how to put your child in a car seat, but really when you bring it here and they tell you you're doing it wrong or you're doing it right, you just want to be safe.
For our firefighters, with them being here and taking runs and having to respond to emergencies, we can't always be that present. So the car seat technicians, other people have been through a minimum of 80 hours of training on how to properly install car seats. That has been invaluable to us.
A lot of times the husband will put the car seat in, and the wife will say, I don't think this is right. I'm setting up an appointment. We're taking the car in.
The other thing is there's so many different types of cars out there and so many different types of car seats. You have to have it in there just right for it to be, safe and effective for the child that's riding in it.
We educate everybody that comes in, whether it's already installed or not. We want them to learn how to do it, because there's going to be times when they're going to take it out. Then what are they going to do? So we're always educating them to do that.
It's been valuable to our community and keeping those kids safe, and these volunteers help us out tremendously with doing that. And I just think it's great that people want to help participate and help share in that caring of taking care of each other in our community here in Westerville.
I mean, sitting at home watching TV is very boring. Get out there and volunteer. It gives you that feeling that you're doing something, you're a part of the community.
It's just a great group of people, and I know deep down in their heart they're good people, and that's what really makes us work.
So how does our award-winning Parks and Recreation Department manage acres of parks, miles of walkways, hundreds of programs, and thousands of participants? Last year, it was possible in part thanks to more than 700 volunteers, giving 8,000 total hours of service. And some of these volunteers are not just individuals, but local groups coming together to serve the city.
Everybody knows we have a great park system, nationally recognized. We've got a lot of stuff that needs to be done on a daily basis, and not a lot of people to do it. To do those extra things that need to be done, we have to have volunteers.
Make a Difference Day is a really fun event that we do in October. It's late October. The City of Westerville and Mad Scientist and FACT kind of co-runs together, and we typically do that at Boyer Nature Preserve, and we remove honeysuckle.
Honeysuckle is the very first thing that comes out in the spring, so it throws out its leaf cover, and in so doing, it stops the sunlight from getting to the native plants that are down in the understory, and it's the last thing that dies off in the wintertime. So the little animals and bugs that used to live in the understory, they're gone now.
We were in some of the parks recently cleaning up some of the invasive plants that overtake the parks and make it less enjoyable for everyone to be at.
We get a lot of our volunteers coming out to do something like that, to clean up, to plant things, to take wooden stuff that has fallen down, old dead limbs, and just improve something that people can enjoy.
The volunteers helped us plant the wetlands. We put roughly 14,000 wetland plugs in the ground. That's rooted plant material. We put down acres of seed and hundreds of trees and shrubs, so lots and lots of planting happened here.
We supply gloves and tools. We're going to do honeysuckle removal. We have several tools that pull honeysuckle out. We help them identify what honeysuckle is.
The volunteers range from, Cub Scouts and Girl Scouts that we have that are real young.
High school kids, elementary school kids.
Adults and seniors.
Civic groups, retirees.
I mean, it's an all ages kind of thing.
We post it out there, and it's open for anybody to come out and enjoy what they're doing. It's just wonderful to see a community like Westerville embrace that.
In May, which is World Wetlands Month, we have a wetland workshop here at Highlands.
We had it out of here, we had a table set up here, and we had, I think about 32 kids came by, and basically let them touch them and see that this is not something to be afraid of. This is something that is just part of your environment.
To come out and see that you can find frogs and lily pads and cattails and vines and algae and everything involved.
The volunteers, put in hundreds of hours themselves in 2013 and 2014, making the wetland look its best, like what you see it today.
We like the help, and if you're interested, we'll find something for you to do.
Whether you volunteer in our city for an hour, a day, or a several-week class, you do make a difference. And some of our residents go above and beyond when it comes to volunteering. One group has been meeting regularly for more than a year to help shape the future of Westerville. Let's meet some of those volunteer champions.
Imagine Westerville is a process for the community to define what they want Westerville to be like in the future, 5, 10, and 20 years. The Citizen Advisory Team, 22 members of the community who have volunteered 14 months of their life. They meet once a month, but believe me, they get homework. They are amazing.
From what I learned, the last time we had one in Westerville has been a little over 50 years ago. The council envisioned putting citizens of Westerville together to come up with a plan, an agreeable plan that will eventually go to the council for approval.
The focus from the planner's point of view is, of course, land use, transportation, mobility, how many people, how many jobs, and where it makes sense for the community to grow and where it really is important to preserve.
It is fulfilling to see that I am part of a group that has a say in what my children and possibly my grandchildren are going to be enjoying in the future.
Our volunteers have put in a couple of thousand hours over the last year and a half, and that's meaningful time spent debating, discussing, and engaging with the community.
These are volunteers that were appointed by council because they care about their community. What I really realized is how diverse the group is and how much they all share loving this community and wanting to turn out a good plan.
Say in a city the size of Columbus, where you've got 800,000 people, it's much more difficult to have your voice heard. Here in a city of 35,000 people, by volunteering for boards, for commissions, for groups like this, you really have your voice heard, and it really reflects immediately.
So there's a lot of things the community loves, like our neighborhoods and our parks, and there's a great desire to preserve them. While at the same time, there's definitely opportunities for change, but it has to be paced and appropriately scaled. And so we've identified 7 strategic locations for positive change in the community.
Well, the walkabouts were actually very interesting. We picked out several key areas and target areas for us to focus on. And we walked through all those, met with some developers, met with residents. A lot of the outreach was also meeting the community, was outstanding input. So we get their ideas and what they want, especially in particular their area of the city.
To be able to live in the community that you work in is important, so that you be able to really fulfill a family's needs right here within the local community. So you live here, you work here, you worship here.
This project would not have been possible without this citizen advisory team. The intelligence and expertise around that table. We have people from academia, lawyers, business owners, people part of business development for our healthcare professionals in the community.
I often use part of the stories from this committee in my classes. Otterbein has a big commitment to community engagement. This was my way of sort of engaging myself as a volunteer, but it has a lot of applications in the class. It has some real value to me personally and professionally, so that's why I got involved.
I feel that every individual should recognize that they have a voice and that their voice matters. This is why I am doing this.
It's been a fantastic experience to do this with this group of people.
Many of our most active volunteers come from our growing senior population. Just one trip to the senior center and you'll see how important their work is.
We just had our volunteer recognition dinner, so we had approximately 400 volunteers that attended that, senior volunteers. We use them for pretty much anything. They are our prime source. We have Grandparents' Day celebrations, Party at the Creek, Fourth Fridays, and just daily activities.
This is the pancake breakfast, and we use this to raise money for the Senior Association here, which makes donations back to the Senior Center. I've been flipping pancakes here probably for 7 or 8 years.
The Senior Center serves a breakfast every month, and we volunteer, and I collect the money. I have the best job.
Yeah, she gets to sit and read magazines, collect money.
She needs our support, and I'm giving back because Westerville has a wonderful parks and recreation. They keep my parks up, they keep my roads clean in the winter.
This place does a lot for the seniors, and it has a lot of volunteers that make this program work.
I've been here for 15 years, and I have taught Word, I've taught Family Tree Maker and the genealogy group, helped with the camera classes, but my real love is Photoshop and the line dancing.
Keeps you active, keeps you social, keeps your social skills up.
You can only look at 4 walls for so long.
I sit on the design committee, and we're looking at how the future senior center might look. The other volunteer thing that I'm doing right now for the senior center, and I'm very passionate about it, is Honor Flight, to help those veterans go to Washington, D.C.
Actually, I joined because we wanted to go on these trips.
And so it kind of got me into this place, and I saw so many nice folks, and I wanted to get to know them better.
There's a group here that volunteers to do tutoring 1 day a week with elementary students.
Wilder Elementary in Westerville heard about that. We were willing to read, so now we have a wonderful program over there. And then when I'm not doing anything else, during Christmas I play Santa Claus.
You can find a lot of volunteers that give of their time to make the programs here in Westerville benefit the citizens and also make the city a great place to live.
I mean, they put in countless hours, more than we could ever provide ourselves, overtime hours. So they're helping us out because we wouldn't have the staff for all the activities that we do without them.
You can't help but notice all the smiles and positive attitudes that come from volunteering. When you volunteer, it not only benefits our community, but it's good for your emotional and physical health too. That's why many city employees are also extremely active in giving their time off the clock, including helping in a significant way with one of Westerville's signature holiday events. Watch this.
This shows the spirit of Westerville. This is Westerville right here. When you look around this field and you look at how many people are volunteering out here, you don't see that in too many other communities in the United States.
Our employees take a tremendous amount of pride in being part of our community. It's more than an 8 to 5 job, and you head home afterwards, that you become part of the community and give back, because the community certainly gives a lot to us.
You know what? I want to be a part of the community. There's nothing more to it. I want to give back, and it feels good to do that, and it's the right thing to do.
You will see city employees at Fourth Fridays helping support that event. In December of each year, or right around Thanksgiving, we'll have a citywide competition, a canned food or other food drive to help support caring and sharing.
I look at the community spirit here. As you look around, we've got people from all over the community coming to one common event, and that's to honor those who've given their lives.
We have lots of volunteers out here helping us set up 3,000 flags, over 700 crosses that you see here in the field, as well as all the different logistical things that go on with doing an event like this, from tent setup to making sure all the volunteers are coordinated. I think the city staff that you see out here volunteering, they're just that vested in the community. They love Westerville. They love to be out there in the community and giving back to the community. So I think it's just reinvesting into the community in which you live and work.
It is absolutely a tremendous weekend. It gets bigger every year. The race, we sold out this year, 1,200 on Wednesday, 3 days before the race. So we're very excited about it.
We have one of the most unique courses in Central Ohio. We passed First Responders Park, which has a piece of 9/11 steel from 9/11. But then we passed through the fire station over at 111 on Main Street. But then the last mile goes through the field of heroes that you see here. And so it's one of the most picturesque finishes that you'll ever see in any race. It's just really, really rewarding to see that many people coming out to participate in an event that was meant to be so special to our heroes.
Well, it's fantastic, and you don't see this in many cities, where you get a lot of cities employees taking their own time to come to a city event that is actually a multi-organizational event. We've got the Rotary and some of the other service clubs that take part in this, and it's just a fantastic thing to see people that engaged in their city.
We pay it forward. The previous generation, my father's generation, they served us and they gave us the building blocks to our own success. So when you pay it forward for the next generation as well, to serve them and give them a better future. So this is my own way of contributing.
But we are really unique. We are one of the greatest cities in the United States, and you can see it by this event right here.
As you've watched this edition of Focus Westerville, we hope you've gained a deeper appreciation for the huge impact volunteers in Westerville make, and have possibly been inspired to take a step towards volunteering somewhere in the city. To see how you can get involved, visit the city website at www.westerville.org/volunteer or call 614-901-6500 to connect with the city's volunteer coordinator. The value of volunteering is undeniable. So thank a Westerville volunteer and be a Westerville volunteer. We'll see you next time on Focus Westerville.
If you think about just about every event that we have in Westerville, if it's the July 4th parade, fireworks, the Field of Heroes, even Fourth Fridays, those are all run by volunteers, and our community would just be a lot less special.
We couldn't do it without them. There's thousands of hours that are put into the events through volunteers, and it's not successful without their participation in that.
Volunteers, it's our bridge to the community. You know, these are residents within our community, and we really appreciate that they're, you know, willing to volunteer their time, and it's reciprocated.
The volunteers are vitally important to some of those operations and wouldn't get done without the help of volunteers.
It's just great to represent the city of Westerville and be involved and just have positive experiences.
We wouldn't do any of the programming that we do now without volunteers. Seriously, Cops and Kids Day, SOS Day, Fourth Fridays, without our volunteers, we couldn't staff that.
They're a valuable source to us, and we really could not operate without them.
We should all be involved in our community. Our community gives so much to us. They've given so much to my family.
It doesn't matter whether you volunteer for the smallest thing or the largest thing. It's just about doing your part as a member of the community.
There are so many people that help us do our jobs. We could not, they're out watching our paths for us. They participate with CART and with WISPA supporting our police and our fire. There are so many that support us.
I think our entire community is deeply indebted to those that are willing to volunteer.
It's rewarding. You give of yourself, but you certainly get a lot back.
If they're interested in a better quality community, they should be involved. I guess that's the way to think about it.
If you're not volunteering, my question would be, why not? Get up, get out, get over here.